Hello all, welcome back. Today we are going to learn what is a reducer, what is useReducer, and slowly we are entering into the concepts called Redux. Okay, of course we can without Redux also we can implement the same thing with use context like context with the combination of reducer. So let's understand by doing, and then we can learn each and every topic. So here, in the last session, I have explained that we have discussed that. So if you have a simple component and you can store the information in the local state, okay, local state. Because sometimes if it is difficult, suppose if you have a two buttons, so you just imagine that it's a counter, and if you click on this button the count will increase, and if you click on this button the count will decrease. Okay, you will add event handlers for that to update update the value. So the same simple thing we can do with a use reducer as well. So this is with, okay, I'm going to explain two things so that you will get familiar with and you can understand what is the difference between those things. Okay, you can store the information in the use state, like count information, simple thing. And at the same time today we are going to learn how to deal with the reducer as well. So for the use state, okay, we will update the state directly, like set state with the help of state. But in the use reducer we are not going to update the state directly. So here also you can maintain the state, and here also you can add a increment button and decrement button. Okay, here also we are going to design everything. Wait for some time. So increment decrement, but here one thing is there, we are going to take help from a reducer. Okay, we are going to take help from a reducer. That's okay. I'm just putting inside because right now we are going to deal with a simple component. Later we are going to attach the reducer with context, and we can get a full power. So here the use state, we are doing the state updates directly, but use reducer, simple thing is we are not going to do a state changes directly. You should remember that. So we are going to take help of a reducer. Okay, who is reducer, and what is his role, how he will update the details, state updates and everything we are going to learn. Okay, now just tell me, Varun, are you ready?
Yeah, Raghu.
Okay, and at the same time, who are watching this video, hopefully you have done a practice of use state and use effect and use context. So without that, my suggestion is please don't enter into these topics. First, finish all the topics, and then come back to this topic so that it's going to be very easy for you. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to create the simple counter. Okay, I hope everyone knows how to create with the simple counter. I think already we have a counter. This is I have implemented a lot of things. So let me create a counter, simple counter quickly. So if you are already very good, so please skip this video for 1 2 minutes. Okay, counter. I'm just giving counter A. Okay, for example, JSX. I'm just writing function counter A return. We are going to return JSX, that is a diff, and just do export default counter A. Here I'm just mentioning the H1. It's a simple counter with use state. Okay, we are going to deal with a use reducer as well, so that you can understand easily what is the difference between use state and use reducer. So counter. So for that we need to maintain the state inside the use state. Okay, that is simple count comma set count and just add. Okay, here I'm just adding the count value. So you can display the count information here and just add two buttons. Welcome, increment, increment, and at the same time button decrement, or you can add a reset, all those things. Right now, okay, increment and decrement is enough. So here on click right now, I'm just doing the state updates directly here without adding a event handler. Hopefully you are already understand these things. So here the count, count plus one. So we are just taking help of our previous state and just for updating count plus one. Here just opposite, like we should do a minus. That's it. It's a simple counter. Let's see whether it is working or not. And just add that in the add.js. I'm just import counter A from component tree, and I'm just removing all the previous stuff which we have done with the provider and all those things. So our component A is ready. So let me remove these unnecessary things. Now it's much more clear. Let's see the output. But yeah, count. It's not displaying the count because we didn't provide any initial value. So the counter, it's always good to initialize the value. So it's 0. 0 and increment. Oh, fantastic. And decrement. Okay. Varun, I think it's very clear, right? So how to just create the counter, simple counter with the use state, or do you have any questions?
Sorry, Raghu?
Do you have any questions in this? Is it
No,
clear?
no. Mm.
Clear. Okay. I hope everyone is clear who are watching this video. So here, what we are doing the state changes directly. Okay. We are doing the state change right, of course, immutable with the help of set state, with the help of set state or set counter or something. Okay, but here with the we can do the same thing with the reducer, and we are going to take help of a reducer. Okay, how it will be? First, syntax somewhat difficult and confusing, but don't worry, slowly you will understand everything. For that, I'm just creating another component. Okay, component. So this is counter. Previously it was A, so that now it is B. So JSX. Okay, counter B, simple. So function counter B. Okay, of course return JSX, same div. So here I'm just putting the heading. This is counter with reducer. Okay, previously with useState, or you can say reducer and use reducer. We are using the hook called useReducer, and we are going to implement a reducer function as well. So that we should mention both the things. Because without reducer, it's not possible to use the useReducer. Okay, those things we are going to learn. Okay, and here, okay, first let me export it. Export default. Okay, counter B. Here I'm just putting the headshot tag so that it will draw one line. So let me already export it and just place this one also. Import counter B from counter B. And even if you have a confusion why I'm writing here, don't worry. So let me remove this one. Confusion. So in app.js, so I'm just giving a one line break here. Written one, let 1 minute. Just wrap everything into a simple div. Okay. So now you can add a number of elements. So here I'm just putting like a counter A, and I'm just putting the HR tag, and then we are going to add counter B. That's fantastic. So let's see the output. Okay, this is like with the use state, and the next one we are going to deal with a use reducer. Okay, whenever you are going to deal with a use reducer, first you should remember what we have discussed yesterday, that sweet shop. Okay, that here I'm just putting again the same thing. This is very important. Okay, suppose you have a sweet shop, and here this is a state like where we are storing all the sweets. So right now we have only one type of sweet. Okay, without making it complex, one type of sweet only. And here we have a counter, and customers will come and they will pay money, and he will dispatch some action. Okay, he will give some receipt. Okay, he will give some receipt. And here the reducer will be there. Okay, receipt I will draw with a different one. Let's go with this star is good. This is the receipt. Okay, you should hand over this receipt to this reducer. Okay, reducer, then reducer will take some action, whether you need to add the sweets or you need to remove the sweets from the state. This is very simple. Okay, if you understand this thing, so hopefully you will understand reducer very easily. So here this is the state. Okay, I'm writing here simply, this is like sweets count. Okay, or we can say this is the initial state, or state of the application, state of the component, or whatever it is, state. So he is like one person who is help, like his name is reducer, and you are dispatching something. Okay, this machine is dispatch something. Okay, so this is like action. Okay, this is somewhat different, right? Here, okay, reducer is fine. This switch the state is really correlated, but after doing some examples, you will understand clearly why this is action and all these things. So for that, here we need three things. First one is we need a state. Okay, we need a state. We need a state. So let's here anyway in the counter B. So first what I'm doing, I'm just defining one initial state. Okay, this you don't need to put this in a use state because we are going to deal with a use reducer. So for that, we should define initial state. Later, reducer will handle take over whole control of that state. So for that, I'm just what I'm doing initial state. What should be the initial state? State. Okay, this is an object. This is the object. The symbol. This is a count, and the initial value is 0. That's it. So in the use state, what we will do? We'll do like a use state, and we will provide the initial value. It will return the count and set count because it is giving a direct method to a developer, so that you can with the help of the set count directly you can update the count. But here in counter B, we are dealing with a reducer, so it is not going to give a direct access to you. You need a receipt, and you should hand over it to the reducer. Then reducer will take care of how to update the state. So now, okay, let's prepare the reducer. Okay, I'm just taking a simple function. This is called reducer. You can give any name like my first reducer or sweets reducer or count reducer, whatever it is. But right now we don't have any conflict because we are creating only one reducer. so that you can take the function name as a reducer. Okay, the syntax is somewhat different, so don't worry. So here, okay, what he will do, what this reducer will do, Varun. So once he got the receipt, okay, how the receipt is there now, how the receipt is there, in the receipt he will mention the type of a sweet. Suppose if the sweet is gulab jamun, you will say that gulab jamun, GG, okay, the type gulab jamun, and normally, and at the same time you will say how many sweets you want. So I want the 1 kg or 2 kg, or the count is 1 or 2 something. This is the action. This is the action. Okay, what this person is going to give. Okay, normally we will see that the same kind of receipt you get in the sweet shop. Okay, and you will hand over to the reducer. Okay, he will check what is there in that action. Okay, he will check the action type. So instead of making it a type gulab jamun and count is one, right now we have only one thing in our sweet shop, that is a gulab jamun. And so, for that what we are doing, we are making the receipt much more simpler, much more simpler. Of course, in the next stage we are going to build in that way. So here the simple thing action. Okay, okay. So in the sweet shop it should be like that only. So we should not why it is not working controls, right? Okay, fine. In sweet shop this action is there. It is an object. Just remember, this is an object. This is an object, and in that we can define the type is gulab jamun. Okay, gulab jamun, and initially at the same time you can say that count or value, whatever it is, or the 1 kg or 2 kgs. Okay. So here also, but here we have a simple counter. So in counter, what we are doing, increment or decrement. Two things are there. So if you say to the reducer that in the action type, if it is increment, you should increase the count. If it is decrement, you should decrease the count. Okay. Then we can come to the actual implementation, how this sweet shop is working. Okay, just right now, just take a reference of the sweet shop. The where is the initial state and the reducer and action dispatch. So here remember, a reducer expects two things. One is a state, okay, one is the state, and another one is action. Okay, another one is action. Okay, if you provide the state and if you provide the action, if you just connect to the actions, because this is automatically interlinked with this reducer, is going to interlink with this machine. Okay, normally in sweet shop you will take the receipt and you will hand over to the reducer, but normally in some sweet shops you no need to carry this receipt by yourself. Yeah, automatically these people will dispatch that receipt to this reducer. This reducer will give it to you. Okay, right now, let's make it simple. Just come back to the React now. So what happened here now? Just the function is reducer and it's a state and action. Okay, action is an object. Just imagine this action is an object. So normally, right now we are going to deal with a type. Okay, type you can mention like add, count, increment or decrement, right? So you can go with same thing, increment, or there is a chance that decrement also. So if the type is increment, he will increase this count. If the type is decrement, he will decrease the count. Simple. So here, what I'm doing, I'm just adding the switch case. Okay, I hope you are familiar with switch in a JavaScript or any other programming language. So how the switch will work? Switch. Okay, you should add the condition. So here, what I'm doing, it will check the action dot type. Okay, action dot type. So if this action dot type, okay, we can write the cases here, the switch cases. Okay, case if it is increment, if that type is increment, if that type is increment, the type is increment, I will deal with the increase in the count. Okay, it's somewhat difficult. So initially, don't worry, it's very easy once you do practice for a couple of times. So it is going to return. Okay, don't worry about the this yellow warnings. We can fix them in a couple of minutes. So it is going to return. It is going to return. So it will take the previous state, it will take the previous state and it will construct the new state, it will construct the new state and it will return. So here how I am doing, observe carefully. So the new state is a count. What is that count? It is, okay, actual previous state will be there in this state variable, this state dot count, because our count is there in the state. So this reducer will take over this uh, initial state, okay, and he will maintain the current state here. So what you can do, state.count plus 1. Okay, state.count plus 1 here. So for switch cases we should provide the default case, that's why it is showing here. So if it is a default case, I'm just returning the exact state, I'm not doing any changes. So if it is increment, what I'm doing, I'm just constructing the new state object, this one. And what should be the state? Count, right? So that count, I'm just taking the previous count, state.count, and plus 1, I'm just adding here. So in the same way, if that type is decrement, observe carefully, if that type is decrement, the type is decrement. So what we need to do, this state should be we should take the latest state. Okay, this reducer will handle, because here everything, this complete state is under control of the reducer. So he knows what is the current state, and if you say just give add two sweets, he will add it. If you say just remove two sweets, he will remove it. Okay, he can do that. Okay, so our reducer is also ready. Okay, don't worry, we are going to understand in the reverse order. So first we are defining initial state, and then we are preparing our reducer, then we are going to use that thing with the help of useReducer. So once we understand in one direction, and again we need to understand in the reverse order also to understand this concept. So so far, Varun, do you have any confusion here?
No, Ravi.
Okay, just if you know how this switch case is working, simple thing. Reducer will take over the control of the state, and the action, we are going to give a receipt to this reducer. He will check what is there in that action. In that action is an object, in that one important property is type. Okay, we should follow the same structure. So if that type is increment, okay, he is going to increase the count. If the type is a decrement, he is going to decrease the count. And if nothing is there, he will return the same state. That's it. So now here in the use state, simply constant count, set count. Okay, this is a use state is going to return count and set. So here, if you want to deal with a reducer, we have another hook that is called use reducer. So here the constant, this is interesting and confusing also. Use reducer, the syntax is same. So if you see, it's a constant, and here it is also written two things, this is a use reducer. So use reducer, we need to, for use reducer you need to provide reducer. Who is the reducer? Right now this function is our reducer. So even if you give any name like triple x, so just give that name that is a reducer, right, for us. But make it meaningful. Make it meaningful. Because this is a reducer for us. This is our first reducer for us. So just provide the reference of that reducer function. And what is the initial state? Because you should provide at the time of declaring use reducer, you should give what is the initial state. Okay, already we have defined the initial state. Already we have defined the initial state. Okay, once you give a reducer function and once you define the initial state, this reducer is going to take control of this state and everything. Okay, this reducer is going to take the control of this state. And what he will do, what he will return, this is very, very interesting. What he will return the state, exactly what is the state of the um, right now, state of this counter object. What is the state? And another super important thing is he's going to return another method. So how this here it is returning the count and is the second one is a method to update this count. Okay, to update this count we have a method. Here also same. Here also same. This is a state. To update the state, he is giving one dispatch. He's returning one method. So just define that is as a dispatch. You can give any name, but dispatch is the proper suitable word in this situation. So in this use state also, first one is the count or the state, and this is the method. Okay, here use state because you don't have any complexity, so that you're giving an initial state here. So in the use reducer also, you have given initial state because here we are taking the object. That's fine. I just defined the outside. Otherwise, you can add the state like this. Control C. Just provide your initial state. Okay, this is the initial. So, but it will be syntax wise, it's complex, so that it's better to okay just define outside and just pass it. So fine, that is enough. So here, so if you want to see the count, if you want to see the count, okay. So previously in the count directly you have a information in the count. That's why you are just defining the count. But here in the use reducer that is inside the state. That is inside the state. The state is an object. Inside we have a count property. So that what we can do. So here even you can see that count value. But previously you have just defined the count, but here the count is inside the state object, so that state dot count. So carefully whether we are able to see the output or not. So yes, this is the counter with the use state. This is the counter with the reducer and use reducer. Initially this count value is also 0. This count value is also 0. So if you want to change the initial value, just go to here. So initial value, suppose if you want to give 100, if you mention 100, the initial value will be 100. For this also, if you just give a initial value as 100, so it will consider the initial value as 100, the both the situations. Okay, just refresh. Why this is not giving? Just refresh, it will work actually. Maybe that's rendering is slow. So it is working. So Varun, are you clear up to this point?
Yeah, Raghu.
Who are watching this video, just tell me, okay, if you don't understand, just reach out to me. Okay, don't sit blindly. So first do practice. If you don't understand, just reach out to me. Okay, fine. Super. So finally, we are able to read the information. We are able to read the information. But here, and if you want to do any changes, if you want to increase the count, if you want to decrease the count, what we need to do? What we need to do? We need to take help of a dispatch and we should reach out to the reducer. So how to deal that? So simple. Here also, I'm just creating a two buttons. A button increment and another button that is So here on click of this button. So previously in the count, we have a straightforward method, that is set count, so that you have done that. So here it is also very simple. Yes, we should use the dispatch method. Okay, he's giving a dispatch method, right? And what you need to dispatch here, you know clearly that you have an access to the account directly, so that you are giving the new count. But here in the reducer, you should inform to the reducer only. So what reducer is expecting, what this reducer is expecting, a token or a receipt from the billing team. Okay, you need to dispatch a receipt. In that you should mention what is the type of the suite and how many suites you want. But here it's a very simple count value. For understanding purpose, we have taken a simple thing. So we understand that this you need to dispatch an action. What is that action? Action is an object. Inside there is one important property, that is called type. What is the type? Increment, right? This should match with this spelling. So increment, so just add here. So here already we have hard coded that increment means +1, so that it will increase by 1. Decrement means -1, it will decrease by -1. So you see, it's very simple. So here you don't need to worry about that plus or minus or something. So again, I'm just taking the decrement copy. So this is for decrement. This thing, saving. Okay. Another button. Just this one is. So fine, just save it. So if you see, Varun, just tell me whether it is going to work or not.
Yeah, Ravi.
Okay, first we can test increasing the normal counter with useState. It's working. Just increase the counter with reducer and useReducer. Working, working. And let's decrease. So here you can decrease the count. So here also you can decrease the count. That's it. This is very simple concept. The only thing is here the useState, you can do a state updates directly, but with the help, whenever you are dealing with a reducer, okay, useReducer, you need a reducer. Okay, you need a separate person. You should appoint separate person in your hotel or a sweet shop. So it's very difficult, because if you have a more customers, it's very difficult to handle by you, so that you have appointed one person. This person, he has taken control of whole state. So maybe you will say that, Raghu, where we have given this state and action. Okay, so if you give an initial state and if you mention the reducer, so this use reducer hook, okay, the logic defined and written by React team, okay, they are giving, okay, the state and action to this reducer. Okay, this is the initial state, and e- they have already defined that how they need to handle with the action. So right now you should not break your head that, Raghu, this is a reducer, but whenever we invoke any function, we should pass the initial state and action. Okay, don't worry, that is handled by the React team. You don't need to worry too much about that. So just mention your reducer and just provide the initial state, so that this use reducer will hand over all the responsibility to the reducer method which we have defined. And whenever, and he will return two things. Okay, he will return always the latest state for you, and he is giving one dispatch method. So with the help of this dispatch method, and just dispatch this action. Look, this is the action, the type increment, this object is there now. This is the action, and this is a dispatch method. If you dispatch an action, so automatically this reducer will see that receipt, and he will observe that whether you are asking increment or decrement. So based on that, he will update the state and he will return the new state. So if you see, so just minimize this, minimize this. So here reducer is there. So if you dispatch an action, this reducer will take that action internally. He will return the new state. He will update the new state. And increment means the initially count is 0 plus 1. He will update the state with 1 plus 1 again. He will update the latest count and he will give it to you. So it will display. So now you can understand the reverse order. Reverse order. Previously, we have defined initial state and we have defined the reducer, and later you have defined the use reducer. So in reverse order, because if you want to use a use reducer, you need a reducer method and initial state. And this use reducer will give a latest state and a dispatch method. So for that, if you need a reducer, so that you have defined a reducer, and you need an initial state, that's why you define the initial state. It's very simple. Okay, understood, Varun? Clearly?
Yeah, understood.
Okay, who are watching this video, if you understand this concept, please click on like button, because if you feel this information is useful, this information should reach to the students like you. So if you don't click on like button, and we don't have any marketing things or something, so this is a valuable information. I know how much valuable is this. So just click on like button so that YouTube will take care that because we, you are watching our videos, and if you are not clicking the like button, so if someone else watching our videos, and he will check normally, if you open any YouTube anything, okay, we will check, okay, whether anyone is clicked on likes, how many likes are there. So if our students are not, don't have a time to click on like button, and how it will reach to other people. Okay, for that only, because I don't need any likes or dislikes or comments. Okay, I don't bother about that. The only intention is this information should reach to many students, because it's very difficult to understand the redux part, reducer, as a beginner. So hopefully I tried my level best to explain this concept as simple as much, so that if you click on like button and if you understand, so that based on that other people, new viewers or new subscribers, feel that okay, this information is good, so that they can watch the video for that only. Suppose if you feel that this information is not good, okay, don't click on like button, and even you can click on unlike button, suppose if it is not good. Okay, that's all for this video and this session. Varun, please do practice multiple times. And so we have taken a simple example, just a count, just a count. So in coming sessions, we are going to define our e-commerce application state. Total. Suppose the card details, at the same time user profile details, everything we are going to maintain in one object, and we are going to deal with the reducer. And if you want to provide that information to all the components in the component tree in your application, so that we should integrate this reducer with a context, then that will be available for all the components. So we will be very close to start implementing the cart page. Okay, hopefully you will do practice like everyone. Yeah. Any questions, Varun, before closing the session?
One doubt, Raghu.
Yeah, ask me.
Can we store that initial state value in use state, and can we use that one?
No, because whenever, suppose if you store in the use state, what is the purpose? You need to update it directly, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't need, right? We need to trigger a re-render, right? Why we are storing information in the state without storing in a local variable? Just tell me. Suppose the count is there. You can store the count here also, right? Okay. Why we are not doing? Why we are storing in the use state? So that if you do with a use state, it will take care of a re-rendering. Whenever you invoke this set count, it is re-rendering. So maybe you can ask that, Raghu, here also we need a re-rendering, right, Raghu? Yes, yes, this reducer will take care internally. So that if you just provide the initial state, because here this is a complex, because reducer can handle the complex data. That's why we are storing in the object. Otherwise, even we can store like a simple font. And if you, okay, this is one, because what we are doing there now, simple thing is here initial count is equal to 0, and you are giving this count to the state. Okay, what you are doing?
Yeah, got it. Bro.
So here, instead of just hard coding here, you are just storing the initial state here and you are giving it over. And this reducer will handle the state and it will re-render whenever the state has updates. So that we can learn practically. Got it?
Got it. Bro.
Understood. So that's all for this session. And without practicing this session, please don't watch the next session because you can't understand anything. So hopefully, who are watching this video, you should have done a practice of the previous sessions, and now please do practice this one and then do a next one as well. Very soon we are going to create the Amazon in a proper way with the cart and everything. Okay. Thank you and see you in the next session. Bye bye.